Basically, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X to my jeans and I got...
This is the sound of Image by...
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So I apologize for being so late, guys. You just don't even know. Something is going on with StreamYard. Okay, so I had to get in touch with them. I was having technical difficulties. Okay, so that all being said, let's get this party started. Okay, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And as per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay, hello, Mr. Elevation, Janine, Sophie B, it's in the house, T. Randall, Laverne, above all that drama, Anita Harrell, Buckhorse DC, Tangi, Pearly, Queen Sam, Carl Kilcrease. All right, let's get into it. Everyone, please get the likes up. Thank you in advance. All right, so first things first. Let's get into it. Above all the drama said, no apologies needed, Queen. We are here. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Okay, so let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about it because Trump has been trying to stop the hush money sentencing. Please pay attention. Deeply flawed, Trump looks to freeze legal proceedings after a judge's rejection and accuses the Manhattan DA of gamemanship, he says. I'm sorry, but Trump did this to himself, okay? Now, Trump's attorneys urged the Second Circuit one more time to issue an administrative stay and freeze legal proceedings as they attempt to make the case for taking the hush money prosecution out of acting New York Supreme Court Justice Juan Merchan's hands and putting it in federal court so they can raise lingering presidential immunity and preemption defenses. Now, the 12-page reply on Thursday took aim at Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg and his office's response from earlier in the day, claiming their prosecutors once again displayed their local hostilities, toward Trump by dismissing out of hand the defense's so far unsuccessful removal bid. Now, as Law and Crime reported on the flurry of motions, Trump's attorneys last week initially filed a removal notice in the hopes of shutting down a September the 18th sentencing date, vacating Trump's 34 falsification of business records guilty verdicts. He wants to get rid of those 34 felonies. Not happening. But let me continue. And potentially setting the stage for dismissing the state prosecution and federal court based on the Supreme Court's immunity ruling and Trump versus the United States and the prosecution's use of official acts, evidence including tweets at trial. Now, the removal notice came a couple of weeks after acting Merchan for the third time. After asking Merchan for the third time, declined to recuse himself. I'm sorry, not asking, acting. They have a typo in here. After acting Merchan for the third time, declined to recuse himself from the case. Now, the defense argued that asserted conflicts and appearances of impropriety, including the judge's criticism of Trump's use of Twitter in 2019 in a conversation with his daughter, a political consultant for the Kamala Harris-Tim Walz campaign, and other Democrats, made it inappropriate for Merchan to decide on September the 16th, 2 days ahead of sentencing, whether 2018 tweets were official acts under Trump versus the United States. Now, the evidence of local hostilities created a need for an unbiased forum in federal court to analyze these weighty issues, not a state judge who has donated to Democrats, the defense argues. But the removal bid got off to a rocky start not long after it began, as senior U.S. District Judge Alvin Hellerstein last Friday said the notice was deficient since it was not filed with the leave of the court, among other technical issues. Now, this forced the defense to file its documents all over again on Tuesday while seeking the leave of the court. Though the filing was correctly submitted the second time around, the judge made quick work of it the same day. They say this court does not have jurisdiction to hear Mr. Trump's arguments concerning the propriety of the New York trial. Now, that's what Hellerstein said. saying that nothing in the Supreme Court's opinion in v. Trump versus the United States affects my previous conclusion that the hush money payments were private, unofficial acts outside the bounds of executive authority. Okay, now the judge continued saying that Trump did not show good cause for removing the case to federal court. Trump's appeal to the second court followed, asking the federal appellate court to make sure there will be no unlawful incarceration before the 2024 election by issuing a stay and hearing for his case. Now, I want you all to pay attention. What in the world is Trump talking about? An unlawful incarceration? Did he say an unlawful incarceration? So Trump thinks he's not supposed to go to jail ever for his nefariousness? Well, of course, that's what he thinks. Now, the public would therefore benefit from a stay that could allow Justice Merchant to avoid the rat's nest of comedy and federalism issues attendant to the presidential immunity defense and President Trump's potential sentencing in the weeks before the election, while the Second Circuit determines whether the appropriate forum is in the district. Okay, the filing said, this is what the filing said, ripping Hellerstein's reductive mischaracterizations of their position and claiming he is ignoring compelling arguments regarding good cause to remove the case from state court. Now, prosecutors answered on Thursday that Trump actually has little to appeal, since Hellerstein merely denied the defense leave to file the removal notice at issue. But the district court did not enter a remand order here because defendant never filed a proper notice of removal. Instead, as required by the statute, defendant sought leave from the district court under the relevant statute to file an untimely second notice of removal. Now, in the order on appeal, the district court denied the motion, holding that leave to remove the case is not granted, according to Bragg's office. Now, thus, defendant is not appealing from and cannot speak any stay regarding a remand order because the district court never entered one. Rather, the only order on appeal is the district court's denial of leave to file an untimely second notice of removal. Okay, this goes on and on and on. This is also nefarious. In other words, Trump doesn't want to go to jail. Okay, he wants presidential immunity for the crimes that he's been convicted of. And he just thinks that he's supposed to do whatever he wants when he wants, and that he's not supposed to have any consequences because, hey, he's Donald Trump. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Now, in the absence of a stay, Justice Merchant proceeding to deny the presidential immunity motion, as he has already suggested that he plans to do, notwithstanding evidence of his bias that is directly related to the motion. The defense says this could render futile President Trump's efforts to present the presidential immunity and preemption defenses in a federal forum after a successful appeal and removal. Whew, honey, that's a whole lot. That is a whole lot. Okay, it is nefarious. All right, Laverne, it absolutely is. I'm sorry, Trump, please just take those charges and go on to jail. Okay, please take your L, all 34 of them. Denise says the charges were kind of weak, in my opinion. They would not have messed with it at all if he wasn't running for president. You think so? I mean, that is a good point. Okay, Leon said Trump running for dictator and putting them in jail. You see, this is why Trump wants to be a dictator. So he doesn't have to worry about these things. So no one can question his authority and he can do whatever he wants. Okay, above the law says he really thinks that he is above the damn law. Of course he does. He's Trump, a whole narcissist. Well, you know, this is what y'all have to work with. Okay, this is what y'all have to work with. So that's Trump. Okay, and then not to mention that his attorney got into a whole standoff with the judge, basically in a back and forth. They said it was a very tense moment. Okay, lights up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now I just find it all nefarious. Hold on, here it is right here. I'm going to play the video of them discussing this. Now, while I'm going to speak, let's have a word from my sponsors at 12 Tribe. Lights up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, and don't forget you can get your 12 Tribes at Etsy.com, go to Lisa Crafts, and also at Walmart.com. Now I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this, hear what they have to say about all of it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Hearing in a federal courtroom here in Washington on the federal subversion case against Donald Trump. CNN's senior crime and justice reporter Caitlin Polantz was inside the courtroom throughout this entire process this morning. Give us a little flavor of what was going on inside. We saw your reporting, and we were putting on the left part of our screen during the course of this hearing.
Yeah, well, if there were a couple things to note here, the first is that moment where Judge Tanya Chutkan jumped in. There was a spicy banter going on between her and Donald Trump's attorney, John Lauro, about how long it should take for everyone to get together all of the evidence, the briefing, the legal arguments to talk about presidential immunity. Trump's team obviously wanted to slow things down. They were going back and forth very quickly in the courtroom, so much so that the court reporter had to say, hold on, you're talking over one another, judge and defense attorney. And then John Lauro said, you know, there's a very sensitive time in our nation's history, and that's when you could see he lost the judge. Judge Tanya Chutkan sat back in her chair. She sighed, and then she put a finger up, stopped the banter, took a pause, and said, let's discuss what the sensitive time is here. The election is not relevant to the timeline. And that just put a different flavor across the courtroom of the discussions about timing here. And she pulled it back to say, we're going to talk about what's actually needed, what I can do here, and how to move this forward. She didn't put a trial date on the calendar, and she didn't put a timeline down yet. She does say she is going to set one up for later today, hopefully, if she can put that out. But what the subtext here, she didn't want that this is not about the presidential election, Donald Trump running for presidency, and whether or not the Justice Department is able to put forward evidence before November.
I thought I was sleeping okay.
So, you know, it's crazy when the court reporter literally has to take control of the court, okay? Because the judge is too busy arguing with the defense, okay? Please pay attention. Now, there were supposedly some highlights in the case or, you know, things that stood out. So let's listen to what they have to say about that. This is all getting real messy as far as I'm concerned. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
In particular, I would say the fact that she doesn't think this election that is all around us is going to influence her decision on this case at all. And that's actually the norm and the way it should be, unlike some of the other cases where it's playing a bigger role. So I think that's the most standout point to me, that she's all business, no politics in her courtroom, and we're going to get a schedule today, and that will resolve a lot of these issues.
I love the way John described the election. It's all around us. It's all consuming, it seems at times. John, I'm curious about how you think Judge Chutkan is going to approach this superseding indictment. Is she inclined, does it seem to you, to leave it as is or potentially ask for more changes?
It appears to me, based on the hearsay reporting we get out of the court secondhand, there may be a transcript later today too, or soon thereafter, and we'll have a better idea. But it seems that she's going to try to make some sense out of the Supreme Court's ruling, that she's going to dive right into the issue of whether or not Mike Pence, the vice president, can be a player in this trial or not. The government wants that. They want to cast him not as his role as vice president, but as the president of the Senate and a candidate for reelection. So that, and I heard nothing that she rejected any of that outright, notwithstanding arguments by Trump's lawyers. So I thought I had a very good feel about today, that we're in the hands of a very competent judge, and she's going to make some very clear decisions today that will, as a result of scheduling, and we'll have a better feel at when that schedule comes out.
Okay. So what do you all have to say about all of this? I mean, I just have a whole lot of questions. Mr. Elevation says Kabami and Trump nefariousness is out of control. Edward says, I hope Trump go to jail so blacks and Democrats can have a feel good and symbolic moment while the cops unalive blacks go free. What? Edward, sit down somewhere. Okay. Laverne said, this is some jacked up ghetto mess. Yes, it is. What the hell's going on here? Okay. What is going on here? Do you see how nonsensical it is when we say, people who look like me say that we have to choose between the lesser of two evils? Now, on the one hand, you have a whole convicted fellow with 34 felons, okay, trying to get out of the nefarious things that he's been convicted of. Now, the judge is arguing back and forth with his defense attorney, and then the judge says that the election that's going on, that's coming, is not going to affect their decision. Well, of course it is. Okay. Is this judge a Democrat or a Republican? I have questions. Of course it's going to affect their decision. And of course they won't tell us that. Why would they? Okay, this is all real crazy. And it's really starting to get on my darn nerves. All right. Bookhorse DC. Bookhorse DC said he's calling the X-Men. But anyway, I digress. Now let's go to Kabami, because I find this all very interesting. At the end of the day, here's the thing. With all of this foolishness going on, and you see how some people don't want us to ask either of these parties for anything, specifically the Democrats, as it pertains to Black people. Some Black people think we're not supposed to ask the Democrats anything. We're just supposed to give them our votes blindly and foolishly and not demand anything, not ask any questions. Steve Harvey, no, don't ask questions. Don't ask anything. This ain't what that is. Isn't that what he said with his silly self? Now, I want you to look at this video of this fool, okay, going in on Ice Cube, because he said, don't just give your votes for free without asking for something. Let's get into it.
Yo, what's up? This your homie Ice Cube. Here to talk to my Black folks. Anybody telling you that you gotta vote, that it's your duty, that you have to exercise the right, and that people died for you to vote.
Ice Cube has been rich longer than I have been alive. Ice Cube has been rich longer than I have been alive. I am 35 years old. Do you think he gives a flying fuck about poor Black people? The only time we hear about Ice Cube is every 4 years when he is telling Black people to not vote. Or when he's trying to sell us something. That is the only time we hear from Ice Cube. Every 4 years, he come around and tell Black people, don't vote. People didn't die for your right to vote. I mean, some racist white people might have killed them because they wanted to vote. He talking about don't vote unless they tell you what they're going to do for your community. He don't live in y'all community. He has nothing. What you're voting for and what he's voting for are not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I'm telling y'all right now, y'all are not looking for the same thing. He's trying to keep him and his rich friends rich. That man has been rich longer than I have been alive. When these uberly rich Black folk start talking about where you should be placing your votes because of your wants and needs, ask yourself, what are their priorities? It's keeping their money in their fucking pocket. That's the only thing rich people ever complain about. All the taxes that's coming out of their check. If they stop taking the taxes out of their check, they're gonna take it out of our checks. Okay? Don't fall for it. Don't. He said our community. He keeps saying we are us. Ain't no we are us. He don't give a fuck about y'all.
Woo, honey, when somebody can be so loud and wrong, she is such a damn fool. Okay, once in the chat, if you think that she is a fool, and so's the lady sitting beside her that reposted the video and decided to duet it, by the way. Once in the chat, if you think she's a fool, because I'm going to tell you why she's a fool. If you don't think she's a fool, then you must be a fool. Okay? Once in the chat, if you think she's a fool, because I'm about to tell you why she is so completely wrong, while she's so loud and proud and don't even know what the hell she's talking about. You see, this is the thing that gets me about ignorant Black people like her and the lady sitting beside her. Okay? This is the thing that gets me about fools like them. You see, what they do is this. And this is an epidemic among Black people. I hate to say it, but it's true. You see, what many Black people do foolishly, sadly, is they listen to respond, but they don't listen to understand. Let me say that again. They listen to respond. They do not listen to understand. You know how people say communication is key? That's not really true. Comprehension is key. You see, we can communicate all day. I can sit up here and do sign language, right? If you don't understand sign language, you won't be able to communicate. You won't know what I'm talking about. Okay? You need to be able to comprehend what I'm saying so that you get a better understanding at the end of the day. You see, the problem with everything she said is this. This fool said that Ice Cube is not from our community. When he's talking about our community, he's not talking about rich and poor. He's talking about Black people collectively, which means that he absolutely is a part of our community. Then she said that his own motive is to keep his money in his pocket. What she fails to realize with her little small mind that clearly has no critical thinking skills in it, what she fails to realize is, yes, he has money. Yes, he's rich. And yes, he has been rich longer than she has likely been alive. But that's the reason he doesn't have to say anything. That's the reason he doesn't have to go and try to meet with the Democrats to find out what the hell they're going to do for Black people. That's the reason he went and sat down with the Republicans to try to see what they were going to do for Black people. Okay? At the end of the day, if he didn't give a damn about us, he wouldn't have wasted his time out of his rich life and gone to sit down to see what's going to happen with poor Black people. I'm sorry. How did she make any sense? You see, and she thinks that she's so right. And the lady next to her thinks that she's so right. And some of you may even think that she's so right. But please make it make sense. Rich people like Ice Cube do not have to go out there and fight our battles. He's not struggling. He's not going to lose his money no matter who's in the White House. His money is his money. What do you think? That they're going to take it? No, they're not. So he has nothing to gain for himself by speaking up for the regular, everyday, average Joe Black person. Those of us who work a 9 to 5, he has nothing to gain. He's trying to help his people. Did you all see the 1993 video, the interview that Ice Cube did? I know I showed it to y'all. Do y'all remember that? Ice Cube has always been for his people. How can someone say something so stupid when you look like him? When you're the same complexion, how can you make it make sense? And here's the thing. Don't ever listen to somebody who gets on a live stream wearing a damn bonnet, lying down in a bed while trying to give you advice. Because that's ghetto. That's hood rat. That's ratchet. Last I checked, I don't listen to hood rats. Okay? Hood rats have no respect for themselves. If she did, she wouldn't have been lying in bed with a bonnet on trying to tell somebody what to do and think. If she had pride in herself as a Black woman, she would not have shown up like that. But she thought she showed out. She only showed how ignorant she is and how she's so desperately lacking in critical thinking skills and even common sense, which is absolutely free. Last I checked. You see, the bottom line is this. First of all, she played the part of the video that she wanted you to hear. I'm going to play the entirety of the video in a second. But Ice Cube, and here's why I say that people listen to respond rather than listening to understand. Because if she had listened to understand, she would have known that Ice Cube never told us not to vote. He said, don't just give them your vote without asking for something. You see, every other group out there ask for something for their vote. Black people, foolishly, most of us don't ask for anything. And then those of us who boldly do, what do they say? They go in on us, D.L. Hughley. They talk down on us, Ricky Smiley. They try to shun us and call us out, Steve Harvey. They try to make us feel stupid, Roland Swollen Martin. That's what they do. So he's telling us to do what we absolutely should do. He's saying the same thing that I've been telling you and many other people on YouTube, okay, who speak about Black issues, who speak about the politics. He's telling you the same thing we've all been saying. Don't just give them your votes for nothing. Where's our tangibles? Okay? Where's the anti-Black hate crime bill? What about those reparations? That's what he's saying. We should be asking for things, demanding things. You see, like I always have been telling you for years, the Democrats give us a perpetual system of benign neglect. Okay? Wanting us to do for them, but they do nothing for us. How does she make any sense? I just want y'all to really think about that. Talking about what's his priorities. Where are his priorities? Well, you know, the truth of it is his priorities are on his people. My question is, where are her priorities? It's easy to sit at home, lying in bed in the projects or wherever she lives, not putting down anybody in the projects. But here's the thing. It's easy to lie on your arse and talk that talk, but not walk the walk. It's easy to tell other people what the hell they should do when you aren't doing anything from the looks of it. If you did, you wouldn't have shown up like that on a whole live, making yourself look like an Aunt Jemima, is all I'm saying. But let's listen to the entirety of what Ice Cube said, and then I'll be right back to go in some more, because I'm not done with her yet. Lights up, everyone. Thank you.
Downloading. Yo, what's up? This your homie Ice Cube. Here to talk to my Black folks. You know, I just want to be straight up because there's a lot of messages going out about this election. First and foremost, anybody telling you that you gotta vote, that it's your duty, that you have to exercise the right, and that people died for you to vote. For one, people did die, but nobody walked out their house to go die for you to vote. They were killed by probably some racists that don't want to see us get anything. But I'm saying that to say this. Be skeptical of anybody telling you to vote and not telling you to ask for anything, or to tell you to just vote and not to get anything for your vote. That's not how it works. That's not the process. You don't vote just to vote. You vote because you're getting something, or your community is getting something. So everybody that's telling you that, man, look at them and say, what are you getting? Because people that just want you to vote and not ask for nothing, people that's in power that want you to vote but don't want you to get anything, or not asking for you to get anything economically, they suspect, straight up. Because a lot of people been in place for a long time and we ain't got shit. That shit gonna end. That shit gonna end. We gonna get what we supposed to get. Period. And anybody asking you not to ask, I wouldn't listen to them. Because that's the process. Every community asks for what they want. And we're going to do the same goddamn thing.
You tell him, Ice Cube. Now, what the hell she talking about? Okay? She sounded real stupid. Like I said, he didn't tell anybody not to vote. He said, ask for something for your vote. And don't listen to people who tell you not to ask for something for your vote. Steve Harvey. Because that's who told us not to ask Kabami for anything. That's who said he's going to give her softball questions. And don't y'all be sending him no comments on his channel telling him to ask her hard questions. Isn't that what he said? Okay, isn't that what he said? See, she listened to that video so she could come back with a little response, thought she was really saying and doing something. But she didn't really hear what the man was saying. And then here's the thing, she was sitting there lying. Now, what the hell has Ice Cube ever tried to sell us? She said the only time we hear from Ice Cube is when he's trying to sell us something. Or every 4 years when he tells us not to vote. I'm sorry, when has Ice Cube ever, produce the receipt, somebody, if you have them, when Ice Cube ever told us not to vote? When did he ever tell us not to vote? Okay, and we hear from him every election cycle because he's always trying to speak up for his people, because he's always trying to get something for his people. You think that man didn't have anything better to do? He didn't have a movie or something that he was working on. He wasn't doing something with the big three. You think he didn't have anything else to do besides go and try to sit down with the Democrats? And then when they put him on ice and told him to go and wait till the election was over, which here's another election coming, mind you, and they still haven't sat down with him. But then after he left the Democrats and then he went over here to Trump's people and sat down with them to try to come up with policy and things that would benefit Black people collectively. Y'all think he didn't have anything else to do that day? Y'all think he said, well, let me just go up here and shoot the breeze and just go up here and find out what's really going on with these Republicans and Democrats, what they gonna do? Like he didn't have nothing else to do that day? This man already has made his money. Like she said, he's been rich longer than she's been alive. Well, if that's all being said and done, my thing is, why are we sitting here? Leon says common sense ain't too common these days. Clearly, it is not. Now, why would she think that this man has some ulterior motive, that he's doing something nefarious? I find it interesting. But I bet you she didn't have that same energy and smoke when Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, and Ricky Smiley was here going in on Black folk because we don't want to vote for Kabami just because she's Black, allegedly. Allegedly Black, okay? So, I'm sorry. You can't make that make sense. You know, if I were Ice Cube at this point, I wouldn't be doing shite for Black people. I wouldn't. Because all he gets is ridiculed. Okay, Black people, wake the hell up. Because I'm sick and tired of ignorant ass Negroes, okay, who don't want to listen, who don't want to get it, who live in La La Land and then clearly, okay, think this is a whole fairy tale. I mean, they don't take it serious. They can't see the truth from the lies. They are continuously fooled by the Democrats. The Democrats don't have to promise them a darn thing, but they'll still go out there and vote, and they'll use the excuse that they've been using for decades. Well, we got to choose between the lesser of the two evils. This is all crazy. This is absolutely insane. You know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over and over and over and expecting a different result. Like somebody make that make sense. This is ridiculous. James said, Queen giving us this work. Thank you, beloved, for your input into the topic. And thank you for your very generous contribution. I appreciate you. Okay. This is also ridiculous. And wonder why we're still at the bottom of the toll. Says exact two. Exactly. This is why we stay at the bottom. This is why we can't rise to the top. Because we have people among us. You see, let me just remind you again, in case anybody forgot. People like those two right there, that young lady sitting there with that bonnet on thinking she's telling us about life and telling us what we need and should do, and that we should listen to her rather than listen to Ice Cube. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Those are the same type of people that would have been snitching on us to the massa when we were trying to escape the plantation. Those are the same ones that would have been trying to make an argument for how we were wrong. And we should be so grateful that Master let us live on his land, even though every now and then when we get out of hand and don't do as we're told, he has to beat us. But it's for our own good. Those are the types of people. I want you to pay attention. Those are their ancestors. You see, their ancestors were the ones who were afraid to leave the plantation, the ones who chose slavery, the ones who would brag about their master to the other slaves on a different plantation. You know, there were really Negroes who did that, right? Those are their descendants, beloveds. You should ask yourself, who are your ancestors? What did your ancestors fight for? What were they thinking? What did they want? Did your ancestors just sit there and snitch when somebody wanted to be free? Did they try to talk them out of it? Because if you sit there and continue to vote for these Democrats just because you think that's what you need to do, because that's what your parents did and that's what your grandparents did, I want you to remember that for 50 plus years, they've given us nothing. And they didn't give your parents anything, nor did they give your grandparents anything. Okay, it's time to wake up, because this dream is turning into a nightmare right before our very eyes. Okay, that's right. Perplex says descendants of cowards. All right. Descendants of cowards. I mean, how she came to the narrative that he told people not to vote. And then she had the nerve to say he comes around every 4 years just to tell us not to vote. He's never told us not to vote. What has she been listening to? You see how some people have not only selective outrage, but they have selective thinking, selective understanding. Okay, that's what they have. I just want y'all to pay attention. Well, that all being said, let's go to this video about Kabami. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Immigration's a major issue for Republicans, Democrats, independents, really across the board of this country. Americans want this addressed.
That's absolutely right, David. A new ABC poll shows that immigration is at the top of a priority list for Americans around the country. Listen, when we talk to people, they say that this is important to them because when they see apprehensions high and resources strained, it makes them feel like the chaos is creating a vulnerability for our country.
She didn't address the border crisis at all, nor did she tell a room full of 8,000 black women what she was going to do specifically for the black community. They just all pledge their support for nothing in return, but I guess bragging rights to say a member of the Divine Nine, the Boule, is president. Obviously, that's good enough. That's it. And we wonder why as black people, we're not getting anywhere. We have all the Boule getting top positions, local, state, and federal, public and private, but nothing is changing for the black community. Instead, you have all these people connected to fraternities and sororities, yelling and cursing at us, being very disrespectful, telling us we need to vote for this lady and not ask for nothing. Roland Martin. And it's not just Roland, it's Joy Reid, Abby Phillip, both DST members, D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, Steve Harvey, all Qs.
Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing so we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it this for black people and expect to get in the White House. You got to play the game different. Y'all know what this is. So now this next question is another lob for her to dunk. See, I'm on this radio show and I'm hearing all these people talking about, I'm not voting if they're not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, the analytics will show. They know how many women vote, they know the age you are when you vote. If we don't vote, how are we going to ask for something next time? If you ain't got no voting power.
Last month, more than 130,000 migrants were apprehended at the southern border. On January 20th, 2021, if you are president, what specifically would you do with the thousands of people who try to reach the United States every day and want a better life through asylum?
Immediately on January 20th of 2021, I will, first of all, we cannot forget our DACA recipients, and so I'm going to start there. I will immediately, by executive action, reinstate DACA status and DACA protection to those young people. I will further extend protection for deferral of deportation for their parents. I will also immediately put in place a meaningful process for reviewing the cases for asylum.
One of the questions that the black community has is, Senator Harris, if you are elected president, what would be your agenda for the black community?
Right. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit black people. No.
So we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it this for black people and expect to get in the White House.
Doesn't matter the organization, the entire Divine Nine came together to pledge their support for this woman with no tangible benefits for the black community, and they're all trying to bully us into not asking for anything. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. What's in it for them? And why is a boule not helping Black America negotiate a deal with this woman for our support?
Kamala Harris is not going to help get your bills paid just because she's black. Inflation is at an all-time high. Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hughley are definitely go along, get along gang. They don't give you anything intelligent that they say. Steve Harvey just basically sounds like he's shucking and jiving. You know what it is. You know what's going on out here. We black out here. We can't do nothing. And Kamala Harris just sitting there like, yep, you tell. I'm not going to do nothing for them. This ain't that. This is alley-oop. What you mean alley-oop? You alley-ooping Americans to this dummy that's not going to give them anything but gave Asians $26 billion? This is politics. And politics decides people's life. Politics decide where you're going to live, how good you're going to live in that area, the rules you're going to live up under. Everything is decided by politics. So why are we voting for it? But black folks somehow, if we offer for anything, if we ask for anything, reparations, anything, we just some begging ass, crying ass, need to pull ourselves up by the bootstraps ass. Come on, man. I'm the wrong messenger. Anytime you have a man jump on TV or jump on his radio show and coerce or tell his followers, unfollow black people that don't like Kamala.
Okay, and shout out to Kwame Brown for always calling out the bootlicks and those members of the Go Along to Get Along gang, okay? Please make it all make sense. Now, isn't that the same thing I've been telling you all? At the end of the day, telling us not to ask for anything. Don't ask her to do anything specifically for black people. But as soon as that man asked her during that debate, what is she going to do about the border and the people coming over here struggling and seeking asylum? Oh, I'm going to do this. What did she say she was going to do? I'm going to immediately make a meaningful process for asylum. That's what she said. Protection for their parents. I want y'all to pay attention. She had a whole lot to say real quick about what she was going to do specifically for illegal immigrants who broke federal laws to get here, mind you. And I can't say, honestly, that I don't empathize with some of these illegal people coming over here, because some of them are coming over here seeking asylum. But you know what? The truth of the matter is, that's not my problem. That's not my problem, because you know why that's not my problem? And you know why that shouldn't be your problem? It's because we and our plight is not their problem. Okay, I don't see them out there marching with us, fighting with us when we have someone that's unjustly killed by the police. I don't see them out there fighting with us to try to get the things that we deserve, like reparations, any form of tangibles. I don't see them out there. So I'm not going to sit here and fight their battle for them. I can empathize and sympathize from a distance. I don't have to be on the front lines with them or for them, because they're not on the front lines with or for me and my people. Okay? So you have all these stupid people out here saying all this stuff, but they forget what it's supposed to be amongst black people collectively. It's supposed to be black first. Hashtag be one. That's what it's supposed to be. But sadly, some of our people put celebrity worship above their own people. This is what they do. I want you all to pay attention. Okay? Laverne says, Ashe Queen, and so it is. Exactly, beloved. All right. So I don't have time for this foolishness, and you shouldn't have time for it either at the end of the day. And here's another thing. Let's go to this next clip of Kamala. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Here we go.
So I wanted to talk about this situation here with Kamala Harris, Dr. Umar, and Steve Harvey. So apparently Dr. Umar was offered $10,000 to do an interview with Kamala Harris, or she offered him $10,000 to basically side with her during this presidential debate or voting. Steve Harvey brought her on his platform and did an interview with her, and people are upset at Steve Harvey because he asked her soft questions, or that's how they feel the questions were. I don't understand why we upset at Steve Harvey for doing that and saying he got paid for this to ask her those type of questions. But I want y'all to remember, on your platform, you can ask whatever you want. And why would we want to see a black man coming after a woman or coming down harshly on a woman? Dr. Umar is very aggressive, but that's not the type of person Steve Harvey is. I don't understand why we upset at Steve Harvey for doing that and saying he got paid.
Yeah, let me help you out with that. The reason why people are upset is because she's running for president of the United States of America and shouldn't be just getting softball questions. People want to know what she actually stands for. People want to know and hold her accountable for the things that she's done and said, just like any other candidate. And if someone in the media who has influence over, fans and media and stuff are obvious about being able to be bribed, then that upsets people because they trust you with your opinion. I mean, I thought feminism's whole point was to elevate people's perceptions of women to the same level, that they do of men, meaning that, if a man is going to be held to a certain accountability and receive certain benefits for that accountability, then so should a woman. The exact same stuff, right? And generally, any man that's going to run for the presidency of the United States is going to get grilled on anything from their policy to, past things that they've done or said. They're going to get grilled on it and get questioned about what they're about. So if Kamala wants people to take her seriously, then she should not be afraid of being able to answer these hard questions. Y'all can't have it both ways. You can't want to be treated equal when it feels nice, but when it doesn't feel nice, then you want special treatment. I mean, we ain't vote for Comrade Kamala on this side anyway, so. And although I don't really rock with Dr. Umar on just about anything, I give big ups for, staying on business on this particular subject.
Okay, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, please make it all make sense. Another foolish black person who's nonsensical, she's sitting there saying she doesn't understand why people are mad at Steve Harvey. So she's another black person who thinks that we should not be asking for anything and that it's perfectly okay just to vote for her just because she's so-called black. That's what she thinks. It is really a sad day, okay, when we have many a Negro amongst us who refuses to see the truth. I want y'all to pay attention, but listen to this.
As the crowd circled the restaurant before speaking at a rally in front of the business, right on the corner of Eastern and Flamingo.
The reality of McDonald's is that a majority of the folks who are working there today are relying on that income to sustain a household and a family. And if we want to talk about these golden arches being a symbol of the best of America, well, the arches are falling short.
Harris also heard the stories of 2 McDonald's workers before departing the rally. This is one of many stops for Kamala Harris today, marching in solidarity with the Fight for 15 movement.
You don't get no peace!
Demonstrators crowding the street. Their message, wages at or near minimum wage are not acceptable. McDonald's served as their focus and their backdrop.
I worked at Burger King making minimum wage, and I got like $600 every 2 weeks, so it's like $1,200 a month. And if you break it down, that's not a lot of money, with all the bills, phone bills, car note.
We're taking out more!
Harris will continue her campaign swing tomorrow here in the Valley with.
Now, I want you all to pay attention to that. First of all, she's talking to an Asian person about them working at McDonald's. Okay. At the end of the day, here's what I want you to pay attention to most of all. Now, she's talking to McDonald's workers and she's talking about McDonald's and all that. But what she's not telling you, and I know she knows this. Okay. I know she knows this because I know it. What I know and what Kamala Harris knows but won't tell you and will just act as though it's not happening is that there's modern day slavery going on in McDonald's. That's right. There are prisoners who are forced to work at McDonald's. Okay, please pay attention. Now I'm going to go to a video to prove my point. Now, mind you, this is a topic, modern day slavery and what's going on in prisons, especially Alabama prisons. Okay, we're going to talk about that on the next live on the backup channel. I already dropped the link. Okay, so those of you who follow the backup channel, don't miss it. Now listen to this.
Calling it modern slavery, does that feel
I
right?
was just about to say that's slavery. That's slavery. You took away the whips, but you put the paperwork. Took away the masters and you put them in uniform. Same difference. Same difference.
it kind of appears that there is a coordinated system in order to protect the labor that's created by the prison system.
Walk into a McDonald's in Alabama, and the worker flipping your McDouble could be an incarcerated person.
It's a sad situation of where they getting rich off us.
The Alabama Department of Corrections farms out incarcerated people to work at hundreds of private companies and government agencies across the state.
McDonald's, Burger King, Golden Corral, Wendy's. They got a Wendy's contract right now. State Trooper's office.
They'll send everybody everywhere.
They'll send you everywhere. Yes, the parole office.
And even though ADOC trusts these incarcerated people to leave prison every day and work alongside the general public, many of them are still denied the chance at real freedom.
I work for y'all, but when I come up for parole, you deny me. Why would you deny me? Because you're getting free service.
This is a story about corporations and the
Now, I want you all to pay attention because we're going to get more into that on the backup channel. As I said, there's a whole lot of shady stuff going on, specifically in the Alabama prison system. Kamala knows about this. And you know how I know she knows about it and how you should know she knows about it? It's because didn't Tulsi Gabbard call her out in the 2019 debate when she was initially running for president before she was chosen to be the running mate for Biden? Do you not remember that Tulsi said that Kamala kept people in prison long past their time so that they would continue to be free labor? That's what Kamala did. Okay? This isn't my opinion. This is a fact. That's what Kamala did. So she's sitting there talking about McDonald's and the people who work there. Go talk to those inmates who work there, Kabami. Why don't you go do that? But she won't. Okay? And all of these black people who are just so loud and wrong and thinking they're really telling us something, okay, thinking we're the ones who need to do the research when they themselves have done none. They sound like fools because that's what they are. That's absolutely what they are. All right? Queen Sam said, and she didn't deny it. Exactly. She didn't deny it because it's true. It's absolutely true. And just like that black lady just said, that when she goes up for parole, they deny her. Now, if she was such a danger that she can't get parole, why the hell are they letting her go to McDonald's every day and work? And they're not afraid of her trying to escape. Because they want that free labor. And like she said, that's why she's denied parole. See, this is what they're doing, people. And this is what they're not talking about on the mainstream media. Okay, just remember you heard it here first. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Michelle Obama. And yes, I said Obama. Let's talk about her and the fact that she's sitting up here telling us to do something like she really said something. And then she talks about, Kamala did something. What the hell did Kamala do? I'm still waiting. If Kamala has such good ideas of what she's going to do going forward, if she wins this election, why the hell didn't she give those good ideas to Joe Biden while she's been in office for 3.5 years? Okay, I have a whole lot of questions is all I'm saying. All right, but let's get into it because I'm going to play this audio from a video and shout out to Marlon Brown. Okay, Too Strong is the name of the channel, because he's the one that put this together. I'm going to play some excerpts. I'm going to put an overlay on the screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
In case y'all missed a speech by Michelle Obama at the DNC convention, maybe you should try and go look at it so you can do something, because apparently that's what they want us to do, something. They didn't tell us what, just something. If you can figure it out, please let me know. But we're going to go over some points in the do something speech is what I'm going to call it from now, the do something speech, to see if she actually told you what you could do. So let's go over a few things. Now, throughout the speech, she made a whole lot of references to emotional baggage. Like every turn was to get you riled up to, well, like she said, do something.
Do something. What we've seen from Kamala Harris.
But at no point did she tell you what that something was outside of, something. So we're going to go over some of the somethings. Every time I think about this, it confuses me. But we're going to try and figure out what those some things are. We also had some guest appearances in the audience from some people, and we'll show you who those are, by the way. At one point in her speech, she talked about her mom telling her that, they were not wealthy and they had no intention of being super wealthy because they always knew that people who are wealthy went and got things that they didn't need or more than they needed.
She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, They were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed. They understood that it wasn't enough for their kids to thrive if everyone else around us was drowning.
5 words you pronounced wrong. 2 years.
Hold
before
on,
your brain
beloved.
starts.
She's speaking from the perspective of someone who got more than they needed. So I don't think that the mom's lesson fully took root in Michelle because she went on to be the exact same thing her mom told her not to be. She also said, if you saw a need, make sure you go and do it. Go out in the community.
So my mother.
Thank you, Bithia, for your contribution to the channel, beloved. I appreciate you. Bithia says, thank you, Queen. I had no idea about the prisoners. Thank you. Here's the thing. They don't want you to have any idea, beloved. They don't want any of us to know what's really going on in these prisons, okay? This, and like I told you before, they literally have sued at one point because they felt there weren't enough prisoners in the private prisons, okay? Because these rich folk have invested their money and they want cheap labor. Now, I want you to ask yourselves, beloveds, what's the difference between rich people who invest in private prisons and then sue if said prisons aren't filled to capacity as they want? What's the difference between them and slave owners who owned our ancestors? There is no difference. They own those prisoners. And that's why they decide when they can let them free, when they can set them free. That's why Kabami held them there when they were supposed to be long gone for free prison labor. It's called modern day slavery. And this is why this witch doesn't want us to get reparations, because she doesn't think we're owed it, because we're supposed to be slaves as far as she's concerned. She is not like us. Now let's continue.
Volunteered at the local school. She always looked out for the other kids on the block. She was glad to do the thankless, unglamorous work that for generations has strengthened the fabric of this nation.
Ironically, with that too, she ain't done that neither. So far, we're batting 0 of the things you could do and ain't done. She asking you to do something. She been told she need to do something and she ain't done it yet. But she did the opposite though. So I guess in hindsight, she did do something, just not what she was told. So she went out, got super rich, never gave none of it away. And she never went out into the community like her mom did and helped nobody. She's exactly the opposite of what she said she reveres her mom for. In another part of the speech, she comes in talking about joy.
The steadiness of her upbringing, the honesty of her example, and yes, the joy of her laughter and her life.
Everybody know that's a new talking point, right? We need joy. There's nothing quite like joy. Have some joy. Joy. They couldn't tell you what joy means. And they know it's a name. They probably can name their friends that, but they have no idea what this joy is supposed to be. Why? Here's the thing. Emotions can override logic like that. Logic has a harder time overriding emotions. And they know that. They don't have to have anything they say make sense. It can be completely contradictory, but as long as you're involved in the emotional wave, you'll buy it. And there were littered throughout the audience people who were just absolutely soaked in this emotionality. The other thing she mentioned, which I found kind of weird, she said something that they always ascribe to Mr. Trump as a negative thing, because what they keep telling you is it's the opposite of what America is. This is what she said. You need to do the things that always made America great. Now, I've always heard people say, when was America ever great? Name one time America was ever great. Michelle, please tell me, what did you mean by America always great?
Kamala Harris truly understands the unseen labor and unwavering commitment always made America great.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Well, when I tell you our people are so lost, okay? And like Truth Over Everything just said in the chat, the reason that they were able to sue when prisons weren't filled to capacity, those private prisons, it's because they've signed quota contracts. You see, that's why they were able to sue. They signed quota contracts promising them that the prisons will be filled to a certain extent. Okay. And so when it falls below that, well, which it did, that's why they sued. This is why they're holding people in prison rather than giving them parole. Now, what you ought to think about, those of you who watched my broadcast that I did, I believe it was August the 29th, if I'm not mistaken, but the broadcast that I did about Black August, my commemoration video that I do every year. Every year I do something to pay homage to the political prisoners amongst us. Okay, the real revolutionaries amongst us who have been given trumped up prison sentences in many cases, who have been forced to languish in prison, spending decades in solitary confinement without ever seeing the light of day, having any other contact with other prisoners, recreation, and any of those things. I want you to think about why some of them are still in prison. Not some of them, all of them. Why do you think all of those revolutionaries are still in prison? Okay? For free labor, for one, but also so they don't influence the minds of the prisoners who are there that will one day be free. Because they don't want them to create more revolutionaries. They don't want them to create more visionaries. They don't want them to create more individual thinkers. You see, America's main objective and goal, at least one of them for Black people collectively, other than exterminating us, is to keep our minds from having the ability to be free thinkers. Because if we're free thinkers, then we don't listen to them, the 1% global elite who run everything. We don't listen to the media, the lying news media, the fake news. Trump wasn't lying. That is what it is, fake news. We don't listen to them. When we become free thinkers, we start to see beyond the veil and arise and awaken to the truth, okay, into the light of day and step out of the darkness. But that's what they don't want us to do. So they continue to poison our minds with these liars who lie, like Michelle Obama. Let us not forget what I told you about Michelle Obama and what she did when she worked at that hospital before her husband became the president. Okay? How it was her job to turn poor Black people away. She didn't try to offer them any assistance or any of those things. It was her job to get them to not want to come to that hospital. That was her job, and she was fine with that. But now she wants to sit here and act like she's such a martyr, like her mother was such a martyr, teaching her these things about, oh, well, we look suspiciously at people who get more than they need. Well, she has more than she needs, doesn't she? Hasn't she? For quite some time now, for decades, as far as I'm concerned, her and Obama. But what have they done for the people who have nothing? Why is Kabami always talking about the middle class? What about the people who are below the middle class, who really are struggling to survive, who work 9 to 5s every day, and they can't possibly, feel comfortable on a regular basis because they're too busy trying to make ends meet? What about those people? Yeah, they don't care about them. That's what they don't do. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Everyone, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Okay, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. And for those of you who follow the backup channel, we will be live on there within... Hold on, let me change the time real quick. We'll be live on there at 12 o'clock noon, and that's in 5 minutes. Okay? That's in 5 minutes. So I will see you all there, because we're going to talk about the shooter, Colt Gray, who shot up that school here in Georgia on yesterday, because now his father has been charged, just like I told you yesterday that he should have been. Okay, his father has now been charged. And we also got to talk about this fool that beat a child they were babysitting with raw lumber. Okay, so deplorable and clearly nefarious. With that all being said, I love you all to life. Okay, until next time, beloveds. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther. shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got